for my material, all you're going to need is a 5mm hook, some scissors, and I will be working with a medium weight acrylic yarn, and we will jump right into it. So to start it off, I'm going to be working with a magic ring. If you don't like a magic ring, you can chain 5 and slip stitch back into the first to avoid this, but I'm going to do a magic ring. So I'm just going to bring it over, twist, over the back again. So you create like a big circle. You're going to chain 3. This counts as our first double crochet, so we need 19 more. So into the big circle. 1. Kind of bunch it up and close it as you go. So that's what it looks like. Pull the string to tighten it up. And that's what we are looking like. We're going to slip stitch back into this top chain right here. And we have created our first row. So now to start off row 2, we are going to single crochet into the next chain. So not this chain 3 that we just slip stitched to, this chain right next to it. We're going to single crochet. Then we are going to skip our next chain and do 3 double crochets into that next chain right there. So yarn over and through and do 3 of them. Then you're going to chain 2 and work 3 more double crochets back into that same chain right there. 1, 2, and 3. So that is what we are looking like. And then we're just going to repeat that pattern again. So we're going to skip that chain right there and do a single crochet in the next. And then skip that chain and do 3 double crochets in the next. Chain 2, 3 double crochets into that same chain that we just did the 3 doubles. And we're repeating this all the way around until we have 5 points and we're back at the other side. So I've got my 3, and then I'm going to skip that next chain. You kind of have to move things out of the way that's right there, and single crochet into the next. Skipping that next chain and doing 3 double crochets into the next. Chaining 2 and 3 double crochets into that same stitch. We have 3 points. Skipping that next chain that's really close, single crochet. Skipping that next chain and doing a double, doing 3 doubles into this one. Chain 2 and work 3 more double crochets into that same chain. And now we are going to be on our last point, looking like that. Skipping that next chain and single crochet. Skipping that next chain and doing a double at the top. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, 3 doubles. And for the last time, we are skipping that chain, and this time we are just going to slip stitch into the next chain. And that is what we are looking like at the end of row 2. So for the start of our row 3, we are going to slip stitch into the next chain right next to us right there. And then we're going to do a double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next 2 chains. Yarn over, through, 1, and 1 double in the next. And now we are going to skip that corner chain and right into that big circle that was created from our chain 2. We're going to do the same cluster. So we're going to do 3 doubles into the top, chaining 2, and 3 more doubles into that same circle. So if you move this out of the way, there's a chain we haven't gone into, but we're not going to do that for this round. Into the next chain, we're going to do a double crochet, and then another double crochet into the next chain, and then a slip stitch into the next chain right there. And that is the same pattern all the way around. Double crochet, double crochet, skip into the hole, our 3 chain 2 3 cluster, 1 2 3 more, skip that hidden chain, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next, and 1 double crochet in the next, and slip stitch. So I'm just going to meet you at the end of this row as we're just going to do the exact same thing. So as you can see, I'm coming up on the end of my row. I've just done my last clusters and I have my last 2 double crochets. We're not doing the slip stitch just yet, so do your first double crochet. If you are not changing color, you can ignore this and you can just double crochet and then continue with my next instruction, but I'm going to be changing color. So to do that, I'm going to start my double crochet, yarn over and through, yarn over and pull 2. You're going to leave that with the 2 hooks on there. Cut this string, but leave a good amount of room. Taking your new color, you're going to create a slip knot. You're then going to put your loop back through, pull that to keep it a little tight. And now instead of pulling that yarn through, you're going to put that to the side and you're going to pull this loop through like that and then chain it like that. And now I like to hold both of these strings so we can weave them in as we go. So now for the start of row 4. So now we are going to be skipping these 2 tiny little chains that you have right there and doing a slip stitch into the next one. And now to start off this row, we are always going to be doubling up our double crochets. So because we did 2 double crochets in the last row, you should have 4 to get to this point. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next chain, weaving in the ends as we go, 1 double crochet in the next, 1 in the next to make 3, and 1 in the next to make 4. As you can see, we are no longer skipping that chain, so right into there, and then completing our normal cluster into that top chain 2 loop, chain 2, 3 more into the same loop. So again, this time we are not skipping that first chain, so you're gonna have to move these out of the way a little bit. Right there, we're gonna do 1 double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next, and 1 in the next to make 4. And that is the pattern that we will be repeating. So we are skipping our next 2 chains, doing a slip stitch into the next, working 4 double crochets up to the top, working our double crochet cluster into the top hole, chaining 2, 3 more into the same hole, moving them out of the way so you can do a double crochet right into that next chain, 1, into the next 2, into the next 3, into the next 4. And we are just repeating this pattern all the way around. So here we are finishing off our row. I have done my 4 double crochets down the side. And from now on, we are just repeating row 4 until it fits our body. But like I mentioned earlier, you are always adding 2 to the number of double crochets that you do. So first we started with 2, then we did 4. So this next row would be 6, and then 8, and then 10, and then 12, and so on. But as you can see, it's gonna start getting a lot easier with the color changes. There's 1 purple and 1 pink that are our middle. So then we would just do our single crochet into here and start working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then cluster and all the way down, and then next one would be 8, and then 10, and then 12. Please go back to those sections if you are confused. I'm doing about 9 rows for a size medium, and I will come back when that is complete to see how it's looking. It's going to sit like this and be tied around your neck, and then go around like this. So you just kind of want to make sure that it covers all the goods. Depends how like showy you want it, you know? Like I said before, I did 9 rounds and that is what it's looking like. So for this final single crochet row, I have done a color swap, and we are starting from the skip 2 slip stitch. And now I am just going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch up until the point. This is going to be our neck. So to make our neck hole, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the hole, and you are going to chain 50. So it is that long. Like I said, this is one of your neckties, so you're welcome to make it shorter or longer. Also, I prefer a thinner strap, so I'm just going to be doing 1 chain. But if you wanted to make them thicker, all you would do is work single crochets or double, depending on how thick, back down. But I like the thin strappy look, so once I've chained my 50, I'm just going to cut that off and tie it off. I'm going to attach this back into the hole. So again, I make a slip knot and take it out, put it through the big hole and through, pull it through just enough to make a chain. So once you've attached, you're going to do 1 single crochet into the same hole, and then you're going to chain 50. And tie it off, and we have your neckties. And you're going to attach into the hole one more time, make your chain, and all we're going to do for this part is work single crochets all the way down to the chain, skipping those middle 2 chains that we've been skipping the entire time, and working our single crochet all the way up to the top, and then we're going to be working on our side strap. So I will meet you when we get to here, like that. And now we are going to be working on our side strap. You're going to single crochet into the hole. You're going to chain 150. This is also going to depend on the size of your body. We're doing 2, and then they're going to be connecting and strapping the sides. Okay, and there's our 200. I apologize, that sucked. Cut that off, and we have our side chain. We are going to attach it to the hole. You're going to single crochet all the way down, skipping those 2 corner chains, single crochet all the way up, and you're not going to do anything until you reach this one. You're going to repeat this corner, so go back to that if you get confused. Repeat that corner, and then finish off the crochet, and then you're just going to slip stitch back into that first slip stitch that you made. The only difference being that when you reach a corner with no strings, you're just going to do 3 single crochets into that top hole, and then right into that next chain, work the single crochets all the way down. I hope that makes sense, and I'm going to come back when it is complete. I have not sewn in my strings, what's new? Now I'm just going to show you how I tie it up. The plan is to get them down to this hole. So I'm going to take one side from over here to this side, and we're going to go halfway down this triangle, and we're going to go down into it. And just using my hook to pull this chain through. Now obviously you're going to want to leave this pretty loose because you're going to have to get it on. And then take the other side and do the exact same thing about halfway down. Now going with the one that is right here, we're going to take it back over and go right into the corner. I would recommend just going 1 row back, so skipping the single crochets and going into that last double. Just won't stretch as much. And pull that through. Do the same thing on the other side. And then we're just going to repeat that one more time going down. So halfway, other side, and 1 more. Like I said, you're just going to go down into that big hole in the corner for the last one. That is what the back looks like. So now you're at the point where there's nothing left but to try it on. Honestly, really hard to get on, but like so cute. We've got the big strappy back. If I was doing it again, I would make my straps even longer. They were pretty hard to tie and they're not that long on me. But overall, I'm super happy with how it came out and I think it is super cute. Thank you guys for getting this far in the video. I hope this was helpful and I would love to see your own creations. And until next time, peace!